Hey, how's it going? I thought it might be kind of fun to do a video on how I got my car. Um, how and why I got my car last summer. And I'm talking about the 1999 30th Anniversary Trans Am. And then some of the things that I've done to the car since I've gotten it. I've posted a few videos about it, talked about a couple things, but I kind of kept a list of all the things I've done and what it cost me, just to kind of give me an idea of what I've put into it. So I certainly wasn't specifically looking for an anniversary car. I always wanted one. I mean, that was kind of like, for me, the fourth gen, like that was like the car, right? In my mind, that was like the coolest one that they made. Just the blue wheels and the white on white and the stripe package and everything just was just something special about it. And the fact that it was anniversary car, low numbers. But the only ones I've ever seen come up, on auctions, like Bring a Trailer. I think I maybe saw one on the Doug DeMuro's Cars and Bid site. You see them on Auto Trader sometimes, on eBay. But it's always like the low mileage ones, 10,000 or less miles, great condition, beautiful cars, great shape, but those things sell for 30 plus. I mean, I've seen some of them here going for 35, 40. I think one maybe even went for 53,000 this past year. So really expensive. Didn't want to spend that kind of money, but didn't think it was really possible, unless something with higher mileage that maybe need a little bit of work popped up. Well, anyway, so I doing searching different sites, some of the ones I just mentioned, but I kind of forgot about ClassicCars.com. Actually, a really good site for looking for classic cars, and it says here classic and modern collector vehicles, right? So good inventory out there, and it's really easy to search. I mean, so I kind of came on here, and I think I was looking for a 98 to 2002 car, so something with an LS1. But if we just for example, let's just put 99, choose your make, model, and I would just choose Firebird. Sometimes if you put WA6, you might actually, if they don't specify it that way, you might miss a few. So just put Firebird. You can kind of sort through them yourself. But so for 99, 7 vehicle matches, and here you go. You've already got a couple anniversary cars showing up. So this one's 30,000. Obviously a T-top car. This one looks like a T. I can't tell. Is this a convertible? This might be a convertible. This one's 41,900. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, this is a convertible car. I'm sure the mileage is, obviously it's got the pace car stickers on it from the Daytona 500. And let's see, this one, it's an automatic, not a stick. But yeah, like here we go, like 12,000 miles, right? So pretty low mileage. I mean, in my opinion, I think after I drove that automatic, that dark blue one, I was like, nah, I want to find something with a stick, be more fun. And but by chance, I started searching, and this pops up, right? I mean, obviously it's been sold because I have it, but this pops up, and I'm like, wow, like this thing 18.5. I mean, I figured it had to, the mileage must have been higher. It's obviously, 76,000 miles, but clear title. I mean, everything looks pretty good. Start looking through some of the pictures, and I mean, just from these pictures, obviously they're not super close up, but looks pretty good. I'm like, if I could get one of these cars that's in pretty good shape, even if it needs some work, that's fine. But under 20,000, like, I was super pumped. So obviously, and I noticed in the description that it was a stick shift too, which is great. I mean, engine bay, a little dirty, but looks fine. Nothing really standing out here. You can see the mileage there. 12 disc changer. Now here's where you can start to see some of the issues, like the seats, and I think this car is in a warmer climate. It's obviously been used, having 76,000 miles on it. These Prada leather seats, they can kind of take a beating, and that's fine. Like I started doing some searching, and there's some companies out there that do seat covers, obviously. And I didn't know how difficult it would be to do that, but I figured it was something I could probably do. I had actually on my 96, I had taken the lower seat cover off here to restitch this area here. Didn't seem too bad. The funny thing is, like, the lower, the bucket seat portion here, it's all just, you kind of just snap the leather underneath. There's like these clips. I didn't realize, the, what do they call them, hog pins or whatever, that you have to use to kind of tighten the leather over the foam cushions and stuff. You get the hog rings up here. I think in these lower cushions back here. So it's a lot of work. Unfortunately, I didn't do a video when I did that, but it was a lot of work. But it was fun. I actually kind of enjoyed it, and it was a good learning experience. But so that the seats obviously needed replaced, seat covers, and then let's see what else here. I mean, the steering wheel looks really good. Leather, the leather on it looks good. It's not like peeling off and stuff. Dash looks clean. Stick shift, obviously. So I'm thinking, okay, fine. Like for the most part, I mean, this piece here was missing, at least from the picture. Some fading in the plastic here, but that's something we can fix with a heat gun. I haven't actually done that yet, but that's one of my future projects. I have a heat gun. I just haven't had the time to do it. But everything else looks pretty good. So you can, as you can see here on a car that's actually for sale, just click here, contact seller. And so I did that, and I think it lets you send an email, maybe a text message too. But whatever the case, I started, we exchanged phone numbers or something, but I started texting with the owner and got a little history on it. And he had just run a Carfax, so I didn't have to do that. And it showed like, I think there was 3 owners. He was the 3rd owner. First owner, in the first 3 or 4 years that they had it, they put 60-some thousand miles on it. So the bulk of the mileage was honestly in the first few years of ownership. And then it went to another guy, where it basically just sat in his garage for a couple years. He hardly drove it. And then the 3rd owner, he had it for about 12 years. I think he said he got it in around like 2009 or 10. And him and his wife just took it on like road trips and things like that, just kind of like a fun weekend car. So I think they put a total of around 12,000 miles or something like that on it, over the course of those years. So not much at all. So spent a lot of time sitting there, but so I did ask him to send me some pictures of the wheels. Is one thing I was concerned about, because these wheels are really hard to find to replace. If you need to replace them, really hard to get them restored to a like factory condition. So obviously that was pretty important. I didn't want them to be too beat up, somewhat in decent shape. I figured they wouldn't be perfect, but so anyway, I had him send me 4 pictures of the wheels, and overall they look pretty good. I mean, there's some marks on the outer edge that might be easier to get fixed than the blue part, but so they all look pretty good from the pictures he sent, as you can see here. There's a little bit of curb rash there, but not too bad. This one, about the same. I mean, the clear coat looks really good though from the pictures. And then here's the last one. Looks pretty good. So I was pretty pumped there. I mean, these tires, they had some wear on them, but that's not a big deal. Wasn't too worried about the tires. I had him also send me some videos. I was like, well, send me like a kind of like a walk around video. So he sent me this here. And just wanted to get kind of close up with the bodywork. Front end looks pretty good. I mean, you can see a few nicks, pebbles and things like that, but that's not a big deal. But overall, everything looks really good and clean. No issues with the lights. Exhaust looks good. The stripes, I mean, from the pictures and the video looks great. The top looks pretty good. So based on these videos, I'm getting pretty pumped. He sent me one of the engine bay here. Wasn't running. Car was off. Probably should have had him send me one running, but I mean, honestly, it looks really clean, right? So everything here looks pretty good. And then I think I had him do one and put the top down. Yeah, so he fired it up. So I can hear it running at least. And then I had him put the top down. So that all looked good there. So anyway, I'm like super pumped as always. We start kind of figuring out. I can put a deposit down, and I told him that I was actually thinking about, because it's down in Arkansas. I'm up in Ohio. It was about maybe a 10-hour drive, and so I figured, I'll rent a car, drive it one way down there, and meet him at the rent-a-car place, take it for a test drive, look everything over, and I would have the certified check if everything was cool. Obviously, give him the check, and I take the car. And worst case scenario, if there was a major issue and it just wasn't going to work, I mean, I lost a day or two, I lost a weekend, but making the drive. But either way, it'd be a fun drive, and not a big deal. So when I did get down there, I think I did mention this in my previous video, but we did run into some minor issues, and it was really just the fact that it had sat so long, and the 11 or 12 years that they had it, just didn't do, like, they did oil changes, like the basic stuff, but didn't do like a tune-up really, like didn't do new plugs, never put a new fuel filter in it. So when I actually took it for the test drive, it and he said when he was driving it around like the day or two before, getting like the title and whatnot like prepped and ready, and he just cleaned it up and stuff like that. He said it was running fine, but and he drove it to the rental car place. I get in the car, and no light, no engine light or anything like that. I start driving, and within like the first like 3 or 4 minutes, engine light comes on, starts running kind of rough, and he's thinking maybe he put bad gas in it, because I think he said he got some gas at like Walmart, but he said he put the premium in it. But so we drove it around a little bit, and we went to a Shell station and put like 4 or 5. Well, we put some octane booster in there, and then some 93, but that didn't seem to make much of a difference. So I told him it was getting late at that point, and I was like, I'm just gonna crash for the night, and get up in the morning, and I was like, let's just do a tune-up. Let's do plugs. I'll get new plugs, new wires, fuel filter, and we'll flush the coolant. He had already changed the oil for me, fresh coolant, and see how things go. And so I think I have a picture here somewhere of the here we go. So these are like the old plugs. They were pretty nasty, and old wires and stuff like that, but and boots and whatnot. But so and he was fairly handy. He had like a nice little shop, and he works on his other cars. He just hadn't done much work on this car, but he works on like rebuilding like old Broncos and things like that, like 4x4 kind of stuff. So he had all the tools. He had we got everything jacked up, and he helped me, and got new plugs and all that stuff done, and fired it up, and it was great. It was running great. So I was super pumped. So we did the deal, and I headed back on my way home, and I got a couple pictures I think here of, let's see, I'll show you, of me cruising on the way home. This is in Arkansas, really flat, just farm country everywhere, but it was running great. And beautiful weather the entire 10-hour drive, even into the night. At some points I was cruising with the top down, and you just keep the side windows up, and I had my AirPod Pros in, listening to music and whatnot to kind of filter out some of the wind noise and stuff like that. But it was a blast. It was awesome. Like, here's another picture of me. You could see me with my AirPods and just cruising. So it was a great drive, a lot of fun. When I did finally get home, I in driving it a little bit that week, I noticed that, and I had mentioned this in the previous video, but the power steering pulley, the plastic piece was coming off of the metal fitting, I guess, that actually goes over like the shaft on the pump that goes into the pump. So the plastic part was kind of breaking loose. It was making a lot of noise, and it was starting to actually rub a little bit against the reservoir tank for the power steering fluid. So, parked the car, obviously, had to order a new pulley, and got a power steering pulley removal kit, and could not get it off with the kit. So I ended up having to Dremel my way, through the plastic piece, get that out, and then Dremel through the metal piece that fit over the shaft. And it wasn't that big of a deal. I got it off, and then the new pulley went on with that power steering removal and installation kit. That went on no issue, so that was fine. So I got the new one on. But I'm trying to think. I think beyond that, then it was running really well. I got some new tires at that point, but overall, that was like the initial stuff that I had to do. But kind of what I wanted to go into, I know that whole intro was kind of long-winded, but so obviously we already talked about the plugs, plugs, wires, coolant. I got wipers for it and a fuel filter. So, and all that stuff was really pretty cheap, like $150. And then I kind of calculated here my labor hours, so I could kind of figure out a saving, like based on me doing my own work, my own labor, versus taking it to a shop or something like that. So how much I saved doing it myself. So that's what I calculated here, and then over on column D, just the type of repair, like a necessary repair is like repair in red. If it was something aesthetic or just optional, it wasn't necessarily needed, for the car to run and operate. And then any like documentation, miscellaneous type stuff. Obviously, like when I registered the car, sales tax for purchasing the car, things like that. So let's just go through. We'll go through like the repair items first. So we already talked about the plugs, wires, coolant and stuff, and then I had the power steering pulley. We talked about that. Removal kit, talked about that. Just some fluid. Like I started doing fluid flushes, so power steering fluid and brake fluid, and then the belts, new serpentine belt. Let's see what else we got here. So then I did 4 new tires. The tires that were on it I figured out the date, because you can kind of look at you can get the date out of some of the numbers that are on there, and I want to say that they were at least 13 or 14 years old, so they're pretty old. They were kind of slippery, really the rubber was getting really hard. So definitely did 4 new tires, and I went with they were Kumos. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to pull up specifically what they were, but the price was great. I got them on Tire Rack. They're the 275/40 17s, and I mean they were like, I got a $75 credit card back, and so I want to say I was sitting somewhere at like, I mean you can see here $475, something like that. So it really was not bad for those 4 tires. Had to have them mounted and balanced, so that was $70, so not too bad. And then I had to get new rear axle bump stops. So I think I got those at Hawk maybe, and I think they had them on eBay. But the ones, the factory ones, like the polyurethane or whatever it is, the foam or whatever the heck it is, were totally shot. And so a couple times I went over some bumps and it thudded pretty hard. So you definitely need to have some good bump stops. There was, I guess this technically isn't necessary, but I fixed the cruise control, but didn't cost me anything to fix it myself. It was just, there's a sensor underneath the clutch. There's a sensor kind of at the top of the clutch pedal. There's just a little, I guess like a sensor or whatever, but it pushes in, and it just kind of had come unscrewed basically, so it was kind of sitting there loose. So just had to tighten. So the cruise control could never activate. because when the clutch is depressed, it has that button pushed in, I believe, and then as soon as you push the clutch, it would depress out, and that sensor would pop out, and it would know to deactivate the cruise control. So it couldn't even activate because that thing was just sitting there loose, and it wouldn't press in or press out. So tighten that up, and I actually had the same problem in my other car, so I fixed it in my other car too. So that was really easy. Some of the unlock, like the lock and unlock buttons, they were just dirty. Again, the contacts were dirty, electrical contacts. So just get in there and clean those up with some alcohol and a Q-tip. And the same thing with the power, like the power steering, or sorry, the power seats, the driver power seat, the controls for it. After I had changed the seat covers, put everything back together and put it in the car, like, the seat was kind of all out of whack. It wasn't comfortable, and I'm trying to adjust the seat, and it wasn't moving. So took the whole like control piece out for the power seat, and took that apart. There's a video, or there's some information, I think, on LS1 Tech, but just same kind of thing. Had to clean all those the contacts like really, really well. Put everything back together, put it back in, and it was working like brand new. So that was cool. Easy fix, no cost there. I did have the differential and tranny fluids, new gasket. I had those all. This just says pump because I got like a little pump to do the to do the differential fluid. But I ended up deciding just to take that to a shop. I had a shop do that for me because it's just messy, and they I don't have a lift, so I just had them take care of that. So that wasn't really too big of a deal. And then I did change some bulbs in the front. The headlight motor on the driver's side, it was making noises, and it wasn't always going up and down. So that's cheap on eBay. It was $40. Swap that out, not a big deal. And then one of the issues I had in the last few months was the high pressure hose for the power steering. It all comes back to the power steering, but that was leaking. And it was dripping on my garage floor and whatnot. So had to get a new high pressure hose, that was pretty cheap. I also decided to do the WS6 cars. They consider it a power steering cooler. That funny looking metal piece. On the it's basically in where the upper radiator hose goes. It kind of interconnects, but it doesn't cool the power steering fluid. It heats it. The only situation I could see where it maybe would cool it is if you're on like a track situation, doing a bunch of laps. The power steering is getting like super hot, and the coolant that's flowing through there is actually cooler at that point than the power steering. But in any normal day driving, it's going to heat your fluid, and it's going to be harder on the power steering pump and whatnot. So I just got a regular upper radiator hose, for like a non WS6 car, and I kept my power steering cooler. It was fine. It was not leaking or anything like that. So I kept it. I kept all the original stuff, like the original seat covers and everything, just in case I sell the car someday and somebody wants all the original stuff. But while I'm using it and enjoying it, just better just to have a regular straight through radiator hose there. And then so coolant and fluid, and then I did there was something on the bottom left of the radiator. There's a little bypass cap, like a rubber bypass cap, and it was really, the one that was on there was really dry rotted, and at some point, who knows when, but at some point it could have started leaking coolant. But so I just went ahead and got a new radiator bypass cap. So that was pretty easy. So that was really it for the necessary repairs. I mean, it might seem like a lot, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. And then if we go through some of the aesthetic optional stuff, the sun visors were, the cloth around the sun visors and where the vanity mirrors was pretty beat up just from the sun and stuff like that. So on eBay you can get these really nice leather sun visor covers, and they literally just slip right over, and they look really nice. So I did that. And then let's see what else we got here. I did a Strut Tower Bar. It's a convertible car. I mean, I did this on my other car too, but I think it just seems to tighten up the steering and stuff like that. And when you're making turns, it just feels sturdier. So I did a Strut Tower Bar. That's an easy thing to put on, and it's, like if you need to put the car back to original, it's an easy thing to take off. The leather seats, like shipped and everything like that, were around $1,000. But a lot of labor, but I did it myself, so it wasn't too bad. I got a Bluetooth radio transmitter because I want to keep the original radio in there, but I want to be able to get Bluetooth calls and listen to my music on my phone and stuff like that. So, got I think it was like a Scosche maybe, pretty cool little unit, and it works really nice. And it's got a USB charger on there too, so you can plug in your phone and charge it as well. K&N air filter. I always like to run those in my cars. Let's see here. I got an additional key. Second set of keys, but also the remote. So there's a website that I got it from. I can reference it in the description, but so that worked out. Actually, I might have it here in case you guys are curious. Let me see here. I kept it is called remotes.com. I don't know if you guys can see that. Remotes.com. Pretty inexpensive, super easy to reprogram. They kind of tell you on there how to do it, but really easy to add an additional remote, so that was cool. Some of the documentation was missing from the car, so the guy, he did not have a manual. He did have like the cover for the manual, but didn't actually have a vehicle manual. So on eBay I found a 1999 vehicle manual for the Firebird. Got that. I did the skip shift eliminator. Just makes the car more drivable, more comfortable. That was really easy to put on, and it's easy to take off if you need to. If you want to put it back to original, no big deal. So let's see what else we got here. I did the seat belts. There's like those little like plastic stoppers on the seat, and they were missing. So I got some new stoppers there, and did a MAF cleaning. So I got some CRC MAF cleaner. I did new LED fog light bulbs for the fog lights, and those look really nice. And and then I did LED headlights for the low beams to kind of match the fog lights. And $179. I'll put it in the description where I got those. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then recently just did the front turn signals. Made a video on those lenses. And then the gas cap. When you open the gas cap and you close it, there should be like two little rubber stoppers there, so it doesn't just bang up against the metal. Those were missing too. So went ahead and ordered some of those. And so that was about it. The other stuff was just like some travel things and the taxes, like I mentioned. But so the price of the car was $18,000. My total spend on parts, I think that was, all the parts, whether it was required or not, was everything I spent on around $3,200 right now, and then that includes the tax and other stuff. So I'm sitting at around $22,467 on the car total with everything, and obviously I did a lot of that work myself, so it could have been higher if you're not doing the work yourself and you're taking it to shops and whatnot. There could be quite a bit of labor on there, but if you do it yourself, you could still be sitting pretty low. And I feel like I have a great car. It's beautiful. I mean, get tons of compliments. It's rare, and so it's a lot of fun. So I think it's it's actually kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, sure, if you got the money and you want to get like a mint condition perfect one with 10,000 miles, I mean, great. But then I feel like you might even feel uncomfortable driving the thing very much, right? And you can't really enjoy it, and it's just going to sit there. But I feel like this one I've had a lot of fun working on it, learning, from working on it, and then I can take it out and enjoy it, and I'll tell you, like, these are like the convertibles. The T-tops are great too, but convertibles are actually great cars. Even when you get the windows up, you don't get a ton of wind. Like, you get enough wind, but not like a ton of wind where you're getting like blown away. And you can you can take it out on a cool day, crank up the heat a little bit, and it's still a lot of fun to drive around in. So anyway, I thought you guys might like to kind of get more backstory and detail on how I found the car, what I've done to the car. But that's about it. All right, thanks for watching.